Dr. Jayrana, Madam Shalini Bhutani, Dr. K.S. Varaprasad, Dr. Kuldeep Singh, Dr. Arabinda Kumar Padi, IAS. Request Dr. Soumya ma'am to moderate the session.
Yes. I'll sit here.
My suggestion is that we get seated.
Yes, let's all sit. Somebody's phone is here. Mine. Oh, okay. So, good afternoon and thank you very much. Now we have come to the session where we are trying to bring together all the different threads from the last 1.5 days that we have been discussing. So it is on the science, the policy and the governance. And we should add finance also to this. Because ultimately any program which needs to take off, get scaled up, be successful, requires... oh, namaste. Kirtivasan ji, please come.
Thank you, Kirti, for joining.
We are starting. I'm glad you made it right on time. So, welcome to our very dynamic collector of Koraput also, Mr. Kirtivasan. So, this panel actually has a very good blend of people from the science side, the policy side, the practical side, experience, as well as administration and finance. So, hopefully, everything that we've heard over the last, I will request the panelists to try to come up with a concise, capturing the main issues and points actually that came up. I think there were a lot of learnings that had been shared, a lot of challenges and opportunities. And what I really liked was that in every session, we had at least 2 farmers. And so over the last 2 days, we've listened to at least 10 farmers or more speaking about different aspects of what they have, but all related to the topic of this. And many of them have, in fact, Raimati spoke in the inaugural yesterday, and she had also raised some of the issues which they face in taking it to the next level. So I don't think we should be satisfied with whatever we have achieved so far, but really how do we take this to the next level? And I go back to Professor Swaminathan's principles of ecological security, food and nutrition security, and of course farmers' welfare, as well as the economic. So economic, ecological, as well as food and nutrition. If we can achieve these 3 things, then I think we are in a perfect situation. But I feel, my personal feeling is that agriculture today is very far away from this. In fact, globally, things are actually going in the wrong direction. But at least in India, we should ensure that by 2047, we are in a state of nutrition security, not just calorie security alone. So with those words, I'd like to invite, I think initially Dr. Jayrana, I would request each speaker to maybe take just 5 minutes or so to try to distill the main major issues, and then we would like to hear from Dr. Shalini, Dr. Varaprasad and Dr. Kuldeep Singh, so more from the science and practice side, and then we will turn to the policy and admin side with the collector and of course Principal Secretary, then Dr. Padi giving us the final words. So over to you, Dr.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam. And I think we have been discussing many things in the last 2 days, but we would like to listen to the 2 Secretary Saab and DM Saab really from the policy, and what we are struggling for the policy. Last 2 days, there is no policy. So I'll flag few challenges, like one thing we must ensure, I must first of congratulate Dr. Padi and Odisha government to take this flag. At least I think the other government will follow that. Like they were the first international unit of millet, they were the first state to have that kind of ownership, and so that is, I think, somehow will go with that. And as I said, 86% farmers are the marginal farmers, small farmers, and they are the custodian of this kind of agrobiodiversity. And they are already trained 50, 60, 70%. So our ex-Durable Director, Dr. Dhillon, he used to say, Kirana, don't spend the time on the employee which is only 10% efficient. You will be finished by making 70% already, make them 100%. So to harness the best benefit. Similarly, the farmer here in the small and medium farmer, they're already in this business. Now, how to make a blend of science and this thing so that we restore ecosystem, we restore their livelihoods, bring some modern like nutrient profiling and all banding what I talked about. If you bring that sense into that, I think that is one approach that we should follow. And state government also has to come forward, like most of the state government have very clear seed replacement rate targets. So when we have that target, the ground level, because agriculture is state subject. So when it is state subject, center has only few schemes. So states are focusing more on a seed replacement rate, how they're all staff, they're looking at that angle only, how much seed replacement rate is there. And when we say SRR means land races and native varieties only. So this is one thing that we need to take care of that. And conflict with the scientist. I worked in NBPGR, so I face this conflict because plant breeder doesn't listen. He said, no, I want to push my variety. I want to push FLD. Seed companies. I can give you an example of this Dodra and Chamba region, which is very excellent maize they have. But when I asked them, what happened to your maize? That's few back. They said, sir, I think private company wale, they give 5 kg seeds free of cost, and we thought it is very good seed. And after 3 years, we have nothing now. We lost all material. So that kind of challenges are there when you are working with them. And as I said, plant breeder and conflict is there, so how to resolve that also. That kind of, so that are the challenges. Convincing farmer on land races, they think only money, no other. So how we bring that money into behind the curtain, all other ecosystem and all things together. I think those are the areas where we have challenges are there. Opportunities are there now. Thanks to Corona, there is a lot of awareness now. Not need to worry. As I said, we are not able to meet the demand of these products as of now. There's a lot of demand. A lot of money is there. So that is an opportunity. Awareness and buyer. You need 2 things only. Your urban cousin is aware. It's very important that urban people should be aware, not the rural people. They are already aware. But even urban cousin will be aware. They have the money. So they are ready to invest that money. So get that money invested into that opportunity. So with these words, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Anna. And Dr. Shalini, please.
Namaskar, thank you very much. And on behalf of FAO, we are a 3-member team here. We are committed. Dr. Konda, Dr. Lavanya, and myself have been here. We've valued the partnerships, not only with the department, but also a lot of our NGO friends here, MSSRF, WASAN, where we're taking this work forward and we stay committed to this. I just wanted to say, acknowledging the knowledge cultures of the women farmers here, I think when we're talking about science, policy and governance, बीजों का जो जीवित ज्ञान है और यहाँ जो महिलाओं का वो ही सबसे बड़ा विज्ञान है. That living science, that people science is what we are all gathered here to celebrate and take forward and support. So I think the discussion started off with looking at science policy and particularly innovation policy. And given that this is a people science, we're seeing how mainstream laws and policies, not only nationally but internationally, are looking at a very particular kind of science. And therefore, even the protection is only to the knowledge, which is that seed, through IPR systems like the Protection of Plant Variety and Farmers' Rights Act. And that's where we should congratulate and acknowledge the initiative of non-IPR approaches that have been taken even in the SOP for land races and farmers' variety, which talks about an open source system. The reason why it has taken so long for even to get registrations of so many land races and farmers variety under a PPV and FR system is that many farmers groups are not convinced that the benefits that are promised through a benefit sharing system under the ABS schemes, under national and international law, which we saw since 30 years, since 1995, the World Trade Organization came. And since then, the corresponding national laws and policies, the trickle-down effect of real benefits accruing, and those two very limitedly focused on monetary benefits, was an approach that in yesterday's deliberation says that no, we need to widen it out to look at even wider non-monetary benefits and non-IPR approaches, and not just look at just the seed in that whole entire seed system, because when you're talking about GIHS, you're looking at a complete system and all the inputs that go into keeping those wisdom cultures alive. And therefore, there was an emphasis yesterday on looking at heritage. When we're looking at globally important agricultural heritage systems, we need a heritage policy, and which respects and protects the entire ecosystem, which is the lab, which is the input for the science of land races and farmers' varieties to go forward. And that's the opportunity that a GIHS designation offers. Just like, and we drew an analogy, just like the Archaeological Survey of India lists out protected monuments and sites, and then correspondingly says that these are the activities which are allowed or not allowed in these protected sites. Likewise, in a GIHS, we are recommending that there'll be certain agricultural practices or certain chemicals which will not be allowed, so that the continuance of land races and farmers' varieties continues and thrives. Likewise, in the Biodiversity Act, and the Odisha State Biodiversity Board has actually used that section 37 to declare Gupteshwar Forest as a biodiversity heritage site. Likewise, can we converge the agricultural heritage sites at a national level? Because this is an international recognition. And I'd like to share 2 slides of examples from Japan and China, where they have globally important agricultural heritage sites. They've set up an agricultural heritage forum, and they have, for the Tokushima GIHS, they have a council which looks at the management and the governance of this agricultural site. Next, like in China, they not only use the signage, like when you enter a protected park, like a Jim Corbett National Park, before, if you enter the park also, you have signages. You are now approaching a national park and sanctuary, and therefore drive carefully. This is an animal zone. Likewise, we need signage, please. Request to the local authorities and directorate. The minute we land in Koraput airport or at the bus stand, please advertise that this is, you have entered, and then that sense of pride. You have entered a GIHS area. So if you see on the right-hand side, they've not only translated in Mandarin, but also not only said GIHS, but this is a nationally important agricultural heritage system. So that declaration and that sense of signage is really important. There are lots of other examples from Spain, from Mexico, that are putting out these signages for the local people to be aware. We are celebrating the women farmers and their knowledge systems, but how many of them even know about the GIHS itself? That they are keeping this GIHS, and it is because of them that this has got the GIHS status. Branding. You know, sir, when I came here, my 5-year-old niece, because I've been sharing with her about the Odisha Millets Mission and the Millie mascot. So she asked me, Masi, are you going to meet Millie? You know, just the branding. You know, just the branding, that if this is something that has come from a state where this is a GIHS. Yesterday, the organizers are very kind to share, along with the placards, a packet of food made from here, you know, the millet and the foxtail. There you have logos of both MSSRF and the local SAG. If it just gives one declaration and eco-label, says that this is produced from a GIHS site, please help to support farmers that are keeping this field and knowledge alive and keeping our food wisdom and cultures alive. That will be really helpful in eco-labeling. So my request to all the NGOs here that are engaged in the FPOs, please have a GIHS eco-label declaring with pride that this is a unique product from a unique place, and we need everybody as consumers to be aware of it, that their contribution of even buying it is supporting that. So I'll conclude by saying that, you know, we have a whole set of a booklet and a guideline from FAO which celebrates both the land and the hands that go into keeping these wisdom cultures alive, so that they not only are kept alive, but they also thrive. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shalini. It's really very excellent and practical suggestions that you've put forward, and we have the collector here, so I think this is we need to talk about it. I think nobody is aware of what is GIHS, what does it mean, and and how can the farmers benefit from having such a task. So FAO's support in this would be very, very helpful. Dr. Kuldeep, could you go next, please? Oh, no, sorry, I messed Varaprasad. Yeah, doesn't matter. Kuldeep, you go. Yeah, then we'll come to Dr.
Name has
Varaprasad.
been called, so he has to go.
It's an informal gathering. So
Well, good afternoon. I won't hesitate saying that probably anyone will be willing to take up a model that's successful. And we shouldn't wait that someone else will come and make our model successful. So probably it has to start from here. My brief intervention here will be, I'll put on three things. Some facts, which could be a preamble, the resources available to us, and the way forward. So what are the facts about the preamble? We have a large population base, no doubt in that. Climate change has happened. It's not happening, it has happened. Agrobiodiversity reduction has happened. Large tracts of monoculture are always at risk. And land races are the farmers' varieties, whether we are talking them for diversity or we are talking for welfare of the farmers. These two things have to be taken maybe in parallel, if not independently. That's one. These are some of the facts. And what are the resources available to us? I think the model Rana presented, Jay presented this morning, that I consider as one of the very good models because a couple of things. One, it was well funded. It was funded for a long duration. And a large number of people were involved in it. It was not one state, there were 4 states for that, and almost 28 crops. 7 states and 28 crops. So we have a lot of learning from that one. We have MSSRF Swaminathan Foundation with 2 to 3 decades of experience, worked over several places in the country, and a lot of learning from them. We have an evolving Odisha model. Congratulations, Dr. Padi and your all colleagues. This is becoming an important model. It's evolving, but it's available with us. We have the experiences from the international organizations like IRRI, ICRISAT, and very good experience from SIP as well when it comes to potato. We haven't, of course, mentioned them here yesterday also, but they have a good model as well, good experience from SIP as well. And then we have the global heritage system, at least 2 available with us, one here and one in Kerala. And we have the ex situ gene banks, both National Gene Bank as well as the CGIR gene banks. These are the resources available. What's needed now is probably a thorough analysis, an honest analysis. What we have learned from these. We have 4 models. I told you the Jeff model we have, the MSSR Swaminathan Foundation model we have, Odisha model we have, and you have the international experiences. So can we identify a group here who could really develop a review based on these experiences, and that can become a working model for us? This is one thing we probably need to do. So we need to identify the strengths each model had, what were the weaknesses in those, what were the gaps, and based on that we can really develop a general model from where the niche-based models could be really derived. One model may not be available or function for uniform for all of them. So these are some of my suggestions, and of course probably this group can take a sort of decision today to write to the finance minister asking for a special grant for the community seed banks in line what they declared for having a second gene bank at the national level. Now these will feed this national second gene bank, the national gene bank, which is NBPGR, and the second gene bank, which is primarily a sort of safety duplicate gene bank, which the proposal was originally developed. I think that could help us in getting special grant for this one. These are some of my suggestions and observations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kuldeep Singh. Again, a very clear summary, but also a way forward and excellent suggestions. Dr. Varaprasad, I'd like to go next.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. A great learnings for the last 2 days. Great learnings. And I am so happy that the tribal people coming here, farmers, they are standing with courage and giving the knowledge, and that gives a lot of satisfaction and also a way forward that they should be part of us, whatever we move forward. So many people think traditional varieties, there is only one person, Muni Mankani, who talked about natural farming and the inputs that they used it. And actually land races and natural farming are inseparable. You don't get its productivity unless you follow the natural farming practices, the bio inputs. So that's very happy, and thank you, Muniji, for bringing that point very explicitly, that it is helpful. And many people think that science is, we are going backward. When we talk of natural farming and traditional varieties, people say that we are going backward. Absolutely no. It is the most modern science which will save this earth from cooling and also from saving income and also the lives of the farmers. It's a secondary benefit. The first benefit is actually saving our lives. We are actually in a very grim situation. If you see the planetary boundaries of that science, this is the only answer, the land races and the natural farming. That will bring the real life to us. So do not get carried away that we are going back, we are moving forward. All the scientific tools are important. Only the way you use it is different. So what I told you, the drones, you can use it for bio inputs, the remote sensing, for certification, for monitoring, it is required. Biotechnology tools to improve the land races, instead of improving new varieties, the land races how to identify, market, and then bring them so that we can directly use it. Artificial intelligence, so much data, so much population, and a wealth of data is there. How to use it and make it locally relevant. It's very important. The most important thing is the funding imbalance is there right now. Both if you consider the rain-fed and irrigated, and if you consider the improved varieties versus the informal seed systems, there is a lot of funding imbalance. And let's start the level where we start. We don't wait for policies, we don't wait for the acts to happen. We should start working and moving ahead. That is what is done by Padisab. What he has done is, he didn't wait for anything. He made a system and he made it applicable, released 4 varieties. Now you go and discuss. So the things already happened. So now the seed production will happen. Same thing should happen in bringing the seed systems. And there is also the one more important point is, we have 10,000 FPOs and 90% of them are orphans. You make them and you leave them. Make them and you leave them. Only 200 of them are really economically viable and very well performing. 10,000, where is 10,000, where is 200? So instead of concentrating on the national scale, whether in this region can we identify a good potential FPOs and handhold them, invest in them, train them, and make them profitable to stand on their own. So this is extremely important. And similarly, the community seed banks, Dr. Rana has really brought out a very good model, Dr. Kuldeep has said, and I did not see in my 50 years of research career, I am 70 years, 50 years of my research career, I have never seen most favorable leadership currently today the nation is having at all levels. So if we don't use it now, we will not be able to move forward. So please take Dr. Hariharan has an excellent idea. 1,000 CSBs, you leave them on their own and you serve your village. No, we should have a central system. We should get the, like a cash deposit. The seed should be deposited, should be taken back as and when required. So make a spoke of 100 spokes and one hub. And this hub will be the one which will come into rescue whenever national disasters will occur. The seed will be in advance, will be stored. And a lot of information can be generated from here. And Dr. Kuldeep, I admire from my heart as a director of National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources. He is the one who gave seed to the farmers. 400 actions he gave that when farmers asked them. And he is continuing that in ICRISAT. And where do we find all national, international institutes, FOS, everybody is now ready to support. If we don't take advantage now, we'll be losing it. And we are extremely happy that Madam Dr. Soumya is now handling this, who is a nutritional person, health person. All, wherever, 100 meetings I attended, everywhere, they are looking for land races and natural farming only for their health and nutrition. The people who are following, the main reason is health and nutrition. I got cancer because of bad food, so I want good food. And I don't want to spoil my environment. So we need to invest in the nutrition and nutritional profiling of our land races and the hand-holding of FPOs, CSBs. I think this is what we need to move forward. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Varaprasad, for your very wise words. So we've heard now from the four experts who have been with us for the last day and a half, and some excellent points for us to move forward on. Clearly we need action. So I'd now like to call upon Mr. Kirtivasan, the district, very dynamic, and I'm so glad that he has been really very supportive, not only of MSSRF's work, but anybody who comes with good ideas. And I know that we're very committed to also strong Panchayati Raj institutions, and that's the ultimate way in which we're going to, bring true empowerment and economic well-being to our communities. So over to you, Mr. Kirtivasan.
Very good afternoon to one and all present here. Respected Principal Secretary, sir, respected Chairperson MSSRF, all other esteemed panelists and esteemed dignitaries who are present today. So first of all, from the district administration, I welcome you all, though this is a plenary session. Unfortunately, I was unable to join the inaugural session yesterday due to some prior commitments. So I'm glad that I was able to make it to the plenary session today. So firstly, I would like to thank MSSRF for organizing this wonderful consultation workshop in Koraput, and for bringing a lot of like-minded people together who work committedly towards upliftment of farmers, as well as who give a lot of thought into climate resilience and seed conservation. So the speakers before me, they have spoken very much in detail, and they've given us very valuable inputs regarding the way forward for Koraput as a district, as well as for the state as a whole. So definitely, we will take note of all the suggestions given. And I was so surprised and in fact glad that Ms. Shalini brought out the idea of setting up a board exhibiting the importance of GI-AHS. So coincidentally, while I was just going through and researching for today's topic, I had asked ChatGPT to design a board also. So just before coming here, I was also having a mental map of where all to place these boards so that we get good recognition. So I was surprised to listen from Ms. Shalini that this would definitely become a game changer for the farmers of our district. And taking her advice forward, we would also ensure that we proudly mention these things in all the packaging that we do. We do a lot of products based out of millets. We are doing a lot of strawberry cultivation these days. We've even experimented chamomile in Kotia Gram Panchayat. So this district holds a very vast potential, and all of us know that we have a varied agro-climatic region here, so which helps us try, innovate, and make any crop successful here. So we have an elevation starting from 250 meters up till 1500 meters. So this kind of a variety in one single district is very rarely seen, and that is why rightly GIHS tag has also been given to this district. Definitely we feel proud about it, and we will also ensure that the benefits of this recognition passes on to our farmers here. And taking forward the thought on local level seed banks and the concept of having a hub and spoke model, definitely we would be looking into that with, under the guidance of Principal Secretary Sir, we will try to take it forward. And a lot of people during my field visits also, I've seen at various locations, they do their own bits. They have their local seed banks. Different herbal varieties are being preserved. Different millet varieties are being preserved. We are also doing a lot of work to get GI tag for a few varieties like Bati Mandia. Our Kala Jeera rice is already GI tagged. Our Koraput coffee, though it is GI tagged along with Araku, still we are trying to have our own recognition for Koraput coffee. So a lot of work has been happening in this field, and definitely the inputs that we got from all the esteemed panelists here today is going to help us take our efforts forward. And I would also like to thank and acknowledge the work MSSRF is doing in collaboration with the district administration, not only with respect to food security and nutrition security. They have also helped us in preparing comprehensive Gram Panchayat development plans. So since we are talking about sustainable development goals these days, even the Ministry of Panchayati Raj, they have brought in a concept of localization of SDGs. So based on which there are 9 themes under which all the Gram Panchayat level development works happen. So the team in Jeypore, they have been in regular touch with us, and they have helped us develop a very good model Gram Panchayat development plan, which is being simulated across the district. And we are hopeful and we are confident that this is also going to be a major breakthrough for us in the coming days, provided that we are able to reach out to all the Gram Panchayats in the district. So overall, I hope the consultation workshop here has opened up new avenues, new pathways for the district to move forward. And with the support of MSSRF as well as all the other stakeholders who are present today, definitely we are going to benefit immensely out of the collaborations that we have. And from the administration side, I would like to make a commitment that whatever suggestions are being given to us, we'll take it to the last person in the field, and we are always open for ideas and for implementation support from our side. So with that, I would like to wind up my speech today. Thank you so much for giving the opportunity today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kirtivasanji. So by the time we all come back next time, I think we'll see the boards, whether designed by ChatGPT or somebody else. I think ChatGPT does a good job of these things. Thank you so much for your support. I'd now like to invite Dr. Arvind Padhi, who's of course an old friend to many of us and to the foundation, and very dynamic Principal Secretary, Agriculture and Farmers Empowerment. I think Odisha is really one of those states everybody accepts that has been the most innovative and the most welcoming of partners, to work here. And that's why everybody I find, whoever I talk to, they say we'd like to work in Odisha, and everybody gravitates here. So I think that's thanks to people like you in the leadership. So over to you, Dr. Padhi.
Thank you, Madam. Madam Swaminathan, Collector, all the distinguished panelists, ebang samasta bandhu mane, all invited guests, विशेष करी आमर भाई बहिनी माने जेन माने आमर कोरापुट जिलार बहिनी माने आसीचन राईमती तांकर ना एबे डॉक्टर राईमती ही जाइछे गोसामणी दळई रुक्मिणी खिल दाम जानी पदम प्रधानी मुनि माड़कामी बहुत सुंदर भाव में कहले दान भई मुई तुम गाँ के जाइली मुई माछरा गाँ के तुम मन थिबा बुदुरा प्रधान सुनामणि परजा because of the presence of these custodian farmers the value of this national consultation has gone up and we are very proud of all our brothers and sisters who are there in this workshop national consultation. And in fact, before I start speaking anything, I would like to pay homage to Professor M.S. Swaminathan, the Bharat Ratna Professor Swaminathan, in which name this institute is proudly hosted in this district. And also I would like to remember Kamala Pujari. If she were alive, she would have been here with us. So I pay my grateful tributes to these great personalities who are intimately connected to the soil of Koraput. At the outset, I again thank Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, Chairperson of MSSRF, and the entire colleagues from the MSSRF for providing me with this opportunity to share my views on science, policy, and governance. Me, Kirti, the District Collector, Sasya Reddy, the new Sub-Collector of Jeypore, and of course, my team members from the department, all of us are in the policy side. So whatever recommendations will come from this workshop, the excellent ones which have already come in and which I have been a part since this morning, they are excellent suggestions for us to take to the policy space, and how do we make use of it is up to the government. And all the scientific prescriptions or the recommendations coming from such consultation workshops, they must get into the policy space. It's not easy. I will just elaborate in a bit. And of course, I again wish to thank all the custodian farmers, the seed conservers of this region who have been instrumental in conservation of the land races and the traditional varieties of this agro-biodiversity hotspot. This is an extremely rich source of place of agro-biodiversity. I'm very privileged, like Kirti, this is my first district as collector. I have been district collectors of 5 districts. No IAS officer has broken my record as yet. And I became the first collector in Koraput. So the first child, the first district, the first subdivision always holds very close to your heart. And like Kirti, this is again a very close place to my heart, so much so that I always keep telling that in my next birth, I am a born Hindu. In my next birth, I would like to be born as a tribal in Koraput region, if God would grant me and I do not attain the moksha and get out of the life cycle. In fact, everybody talks that, everything should go into the policy, but it's not very easy. Getting into, Dr. Vara Prasad was telling about our land races experiment as to how we notified 4 land races. My colleagues from Asan and the Sri Anna, Bijana, there, Susan and others. Dinesh is missing now. So it's not easy. We just try to find our own path in the process. It's when we discovered that land races are, or the traditional varieties or farmers' varieties are doing better than the ICR bred varieties, nobody would believe. The scientists are the most stumbling bloods in the process. And I'm very happy in the morning, Dr. Nirmala Kumari was also mentioning as to how they should gain prominence in the policy space. In the process, we try to create our own protocol, our own SOP as to how do we go for the seed systems for land races. And finally, we succeeded in notifying 4 varieties, Bati, Mami, Bharti, and Kalia. These are the 4 varieties, traditional varieties of this rich hotspot of biodiversity to have been notified as varieties. So, and we became the first state. We are told that nowhere in the entire planet traditional varieties have ever been released. So it's a very great fact and pride for all of us. And our model has now been taken by Government of India to do that. And I am absolutely right, Dr. Bharat Prasad and Dr. Kuldeep Singh, when you say that, this is something, it is literally the quintessential wealth of humankind. There is no substitute for agro-biodiversity in the entire globe. Then I was just reading through many articles in the booklet, and I just got to see one phrase there by Kostanja Kosti, right? And you write about the policy coherence. Because I come from the policy space, so I would like to speak about it. what does policy coherence means? Policy coherence in simple terms is that you speak about it but don't act on it. So that's how the policy makers are suggesting that there should be coherence. Everybody talks about agrobiodiversity, but then how many states are there in India out of 28 who take it to the policy? So you have to literally walk the talk. If you are speaking about agrobiodiversity, then you take it to a scheme or a project or a program, spend money on that. Without money, nothing would move. So maybe the custodian farmers have saved it for centuries of their own. They have not been paid so far. You have the PPB FRA in our country as per a part of the sui generis system. Many countries do not have even that. But then the benefit accrual to a custodian farmer or a conserver of biodiversity is not immense. So it is the duty of the government or the public sector to take it forward. But in policy space, in the policy making, there are many obstacles. And I have got it in literature, the 5S that limit or inhibit the evidence-based policy are these 5S. As you spoke about the 4 A's like availability, accessibility, and affordability and applicability. I think Madam out there, she spoke. So I speak about the 5S, not my own, but then again from the established literature that would inhibit. First is the speed. In government system, because of the speed, everything gets broken. Elections are there, you declare a scheme and may not be evidence-based or may not have been there with kind of much of acumen there. And then superficiality. At times, many of us are in the policy space. I have no hesitation in telling that many times it also becomes superficial. And then spin. The perception guides political decisions. At times, this is again something, the third is that I would like to speak. And the fourth is the secrecy. In many times, due to nature of the political structures, you do not reveal anything. If you ask me data, do I give more often? No. So that's where the literature, the science, the evidences do not come. And the fifth one is about the scientific ignorance. Again, I'm a trained scientist. Those of you who are not aware, I have a PhD in agriculture science from one of the very good institutes where Professor Swaminathan was the director himself. I am a PhD from the Indian Agricultural Research Institute in New Delhi, and I have a science background, but I still have no hesitation in telling that scientists fight amongst each other. And there is much of scientific ignorance, even in creation of scientific evidences, which lead to kind of this imperfect policy making. So when you have this kind of natural wealth coming from the ground, from the barefoot scientists like Raimatis or Kamala Pujaris or our Dana Bois and others, it is us, how do we take it to the policy space? That's where Lindblom, the famous political scientist and economist who says that policy making is an art of modeling through. It is never the perfect one, it is always, it never follows the rational approach. Madam Swaminathan has been also in the government as Union Secretary and also with the international organizations. We should not have any hesitation in telling the ultimate policy is not the perfect one. Then what are the state governments' role in promoting this? I spoke to you about the land races in millets, the seed systems for land races, and how and in that case we have demonstrated that the traditional varieties are also richest source, and we should promote it in other crops as well. In government of Odisha now we have taken a new initiative called Forgotten Foods Initiative. Dr. Soumya Swaminathan was there also when we launched it on Mandya Divas, the 10th of November, wherein we are now trying to scout, map, and promote the traditional varieties of all crops. You go to any place in this state, you find a different variety of green gram, black gram, or red gram, horse gram, even tuberous crops, leafy vegetables, and all this stuff. I spoke in the beginning that it is my job to promote it. So as the secretary of the department, where I am very handsomely paid, this is my job to promote such traditional varieties of crops and species so that the required dietary diversity comes. The FOU has been advising that you bring in not only crop diversity, also bring dietary diversity. Then how does it come? It will only come when it is promoted by the public sector. I am a votary of the notion that it is the job of the government to promote such things, otherwise it would not sustain in the long run. This is something which I want to tell. And in the seat systems, when we speak about public seat systems, Mr. Nandi was speaking when he was delivering his part of the panel discussion, that public systems, seat systems will continue. But at the same time, we have to create this community seat systems for all these varieties, private seat systems, and then we have to work with the communities and the public sector institutions, the private sector and others, because there is a very growing market for this niche segment of seats. Of course, I was discussing with the chairperson that this is now limited to the upper stratum of the society. Elite people like all of us. We are now searching for organic food stuff in the retail markets, not the, common man or a poor person. So how do we bring it to the everybody's tables, and the plates would be a big challenge, and that's where we need to create consumer awareness. We need to stabilize these seed systems from the managed by the community and the community seed banks and others. And many excellent suggestions have come, and I would like to just place them on record before every one of you. When Dr. Nirmala Kumari from the TNAU was telling that soil microbiome is influencing the nutrition in seeds, the nutrient characteristics or the profiling in seeds. Excellent discovery there, and it is such a good thing. And that also we are now promoting from our Rice Fellow Management Initiative. By design, my department is trying to be climate resilient. Would you believe that my office, my department has a climate resilient cell? So if we bring up a new intervention, we see it from the climate lens. The managed gender specialist is there. She was suggesting to be gender sensitive. In our department, we are now opening a gender cell. So by design, the officers who should not be kind of hesitant to tell that they are not very experts, they are also at times ignorant idiots. So they should also know what are the climate and gender lens and other such nutrition lens to a policy making. So we want to be informed well through evidences, through data, and through all such scientific literature. And then on the Dr. Ananthan from the NIN was speaking about the bioavailability. That is again a huge, huge thing that the policy space should consider. Not that millets are good, but then millets may not be good. All forms of millets may not be good for all sections, all cohorts of people. So children in Anganwadi centers may not be, all preparations may not be suiting to all of them. So that what we want to take into our policy making. Of course, the gender responsiveness to land-based traits you spoke, and very interesting insight there on the gastronomy part. We always confuse it with, kind of culinary stuff. So that's where we need to take up further. On the recognition of the women custodian farmers, I told you in the beginning that again we have set a benchmark for rest of the country by recognizing Raimati, who is just passed out of 6th standard. But she is a doctorate now. She is the first one to be given an honorary doctorate by the State Agriculture University. I am very proud that I had nominated her name for that honor. So alternative seed systems model, we would like to take it to the FPOs or the women-led producer groups, and we'll be very happy to take it forward. Again, there were a few other recommendations on the do's and don'ts of SSLR, the seed systems for land races. We need to know, I think Ms. Salini Bhutani was speaking about it, and of course Dr. Rana also was telling, and would be very happy to establish that protocol, and I'm very happy to recognize the efforts of the FAO and the support they are giving to my department through you and Dr. Konda Reddy, Dr. Lavanya. I would like to thank the FAO India team for your support there. And we would like to make a model for not only for our state, but also for rest of the states in our country. The collector has already committed that we will putting off a signage for a GIAHS site is not a big thing for a collector. His budget is maybe $1 billion or something. So it's not a big thing, but the important part is that Koraput needs to be recognized globally. And Kirti Vasan is one of the 2 district collectors amongst the 735 odd collectors in the country who has a GIAHS in his district. Kuttanad in Kerala and Koraput in, you can be a district collector in any of the 30 districts in our state. But if you are not in Koraput, then you cannot claim to be putting up a signage anywhere in your district boundary. So Kirti, you are lucky that way. And I would be happy if you put the signage as quickly as possible. It may not be possible to put it by tomorrow when we fly back, but then we would like to see it as quickly as possible. Take help of, you are an engineer by training, and that's how you immediately got help from the ChatGPT or DeepSeek, I don't know. But then you make it the best of the stuff and get it there in place. And nutritional profiling of the land resources. Again, Dr. Kuldeep Singh was suggesting, and many other scientists in the panel suggested. This is again going to be a very interesting kind of repository of our knowledge for researchers, for the policymakers, for the farmers and everybody. And I'm very happy that we are doing that. Not only in millets, through IRI, Dr. Swati would have spoken to you, I missed her lecture, but then through IRI's support and many other CG centers support, we are now bringing off that for many other crops, including paddy. And climate resilience, nutrition, gender continue to be our top priority, but above everything else is the income support to the farmer. If something doesn't bring income to a farmer, my job as the principal secretary of the department is a big zero. So if at all you prescribe anything, but it needs to bring in income support to the farmers, that's what we are aiming. So we want to create a separate value chain for all these land races or traditional varieties or whatever name you call. It needs good branding. I think this was also suggested by Ms. Bhutani from the FAO India team, that we need to create a branding for our products which are totally organic or natural. So this is a topic wherein we can go on and on, but I think we are going to be, it is going to be 2 p.m., so it would not be proper on my part to elongate it further. I wish to again thank the MSSRF and the district administration and all the supporting agencies who gathered here for this very memorable event for all of us. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much. Yes, Dr. Padi. Yeah. So I think he really managed to pull together very nicely. Yes, sir, you wanted to say something. Huh?
Dr. Sankaran?
Shankaran. I think you need to use the mic.
Just I'll take only one minute. One humble appeal I have been making for the last 20 years, not a joke, for getting the government of India declare one day in a year out of 365 days as a national seed day. Unfortunately, that has not happened. Even up to the Mr. Chauhan also appealed recently, the minister. And unfortunately, even for pizza we have a day, sir, but for seed we don't have a day. I think when we are talking about on seed, I think this seminar also should do this consultation. It's a national consultation. I think one appeal should go from here also. One recommendation should go from here also. Madam Swati Naik about it in the National Seed Congress also we mentioned it, but unfortunately it has not happened. So my some humble appeal is that please make a recommendation for declaring one day in the year for National Seed Day. Yeah, thank you so much.
That's a very good suggestion, yeah. Thank you. So I think now we have some book that will be released and start from here. We'd request all the dignitaries. This is the 30-year book. What book is this? 30 years of MSSRF work. Thank you. Girijan?
Kirti, you may not be in the frame. You just come here because now speeches are over. Please come.
The book elaborates the achievements of this center, Tribal Agrobiodiversity Center, in the areas of agrobiodiversity for empowering the tribal and rural farmers for their livelihood and conservation of agrobiodiversity. It contains around 30 important chapters.
Madam, two of the custodian farmers will be awarded in this forum. I request. So, Muni Markami.
I am
informed by the chair that Muni just got married. Ebe biyahi chik kaman. Let us congratulate her. Okay. Yeah. And she comes from the Koya community. That's a primitive tribal group. We feel proud of her accomplishments.
So Muni Markami is from Kurti village. Sir. Kurti village of Padia block. She has participated in various advanced farming technology training through a joint effort of the MS Swaminathan Research Foundation and Government of Odisha. And she took the cultivating pulses using organic methods and has trained other farmers and has transformed 50 acres of land in her village into lush greenery after rice cultivation. Thus, Srimati Muni can be seen as an exemplary young farmer. She is highly commendable for this special work. So she has a long way to go. Congratulations, Muni, for this. Next, one more farmer, Sri Bhaskar Harijan from Bandhyaguda village in Kundra block has made a special contribution in collecting biodiversity document data. He was part of PBR. Bhaskar is here? No. Huh? Yeah, he is. Yeah. So he has contributed a lot in preparation of a People's Biodiversity Register and documenting the flora and fauna of this region. He led the formation of 14 biodiversity management committees in 14 Gram Panchayats of Jeypore and Kundra blocks with help and support from MS Swaminathan Research Foundation and Biodiversity Board of Odisha. This unparalleled service of his career is ever praiseworthy. Thanks Bhaskar for doing all this good work and continue this. Sir, we have some NGOs, they participated in this seed fest, and other dignitaries who have been participating last 2 days in the discussions. So I call upon those names and to receive a token of appreciation. I call Dr. B. Shankaran, sir.
If there will be a National Seeds Day tomorrow, it will be Dr. Shankaran's country.
Moment.
And he is a seedsman, actually National Seeds Corporation he has been. So a seedsman is always a seedsman.
He was telling the stories from 60s onwards. He remembers.
Moment.
That's in the NSC creation, right? When Dr. Swaminathan would... Oh yes.
When was it created?
In the mid-60s, I believe. Yeah.
Next, I should call Dr. P. Muthuravan. He has come from IRR Hyderabad, and sir has been with us with 2 days and participated in discussions. Next, Miss Christy Kani should be ready to next to receive the appreciation. And we have some NGO leaders are also with us. And leader from Spread, anybody? Okay, then we have a leader from iConcept, Mr. Prabodh Mahanti, to receive the token of appreciation. And from Foundation for Ecological Security, FES, we have to be next. Next, Agragami. After that, Vashan. Next, Pragati. After that, Nirma. And after that, CYSD. So please be in queue in that way. Sushant from Vashan.
Let it be given by the collector. He is a part of my team. meeting me every day, so he would not like me.
Next, anybody from Spread and Pragati? Please come quickly.
Asando, please come. Asando.
Yeah.
Please come.
After that, Pragati. Pragati is available? Huh? No. Nirman, anybody? From Nirman? Anybody from CYSD? Yeah, please. Yeah. Yeah. So, Miss Christy Kani, she is come from long way from, she is part of a Youth Shakti Leader, World Bank, that Ahmedabad. So, she is a young learner. Already given.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, all the best.
I request chairperson to token of appreciation to Principal Secretary, Dr. Padi.
Radha, we should.
No.
I kept to my commitment.
Yes.
Thank you. Collector, please. My name? So it cannot be given to me. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. I'll be happy. I met Professor in his last birthday. I'm really proud and lucky and privileged that I met Professor Swaminathan in his last birthday in his home in Chennai.
Next to Kirti Vasan sir,
Yeah.
District Collector Koraput.
And thank you, Kirti, for making it.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. I would say something. Our Sasya Reddy is our new support. You are the future leader. You have to take the mantle. Come here. Sasya Reddy is our sub-regional magistrate Jeypore. She is the youngest IAS officer of the country. So we will pass on the mantle to her to do our job next generation. Thank you, Sasya. All the best.
Let's stay in touch. Yeah. And
Thank you so much. Thank you.
thank you very much.
Time is running quickly, so this is a formal vote of thanks. Actually, Dr. Arvind Padi, our Principal Secretary, Department of Agriculture and Farmers Empowerment, with our request, though he could not join for the first day, but keeping our request, he joined today. Thank you, sir, for coming a long way and for with your busy schedule. And our chairperson for inspiring all this work, and she has been with us since the last 3 days, and she will be catching the flight now to Bhubaneswar. So I thanks Samya ma'am for guiding us and for this successful consultation. And I thanks Sub-Collector Madam to join us with this event. And I thank Kirti Vasan sir, because of duties, busy schedule, he could not join last 2 days, but the final session he could join with us. We are very much happy to with you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, sir. So, Finally, I thank all the delegates, speakers being with us, Salinimam from FAO, Konda Reddy sir from FAO, and Kuldeep sir, Jairana sir, Baraprasad sir. So I'm not taking all of the name. Thank you all the dignitaries who participated in this, and I thank all the participants from different NGOs and the farming communities. Finally, I thank the MSSRF team for giving all their support to make this consultation successful. Thank you all, and please join the lunch with us in the next building, and we are concluding this session. Thank you all.